down.
Welcome back to another edition of the Gabagools Podcast, just screaming in your ear. I'm your host, Jeff. With me today, as always, the Cuzzo Dan. How we feeling?
I like the screaming in your ear introduction. That's good. Doing swell. Doing swell. I will say though, don't love the snow. Don't love the snow. I know we've been on here. We've talked about the weather. First snowfall. We just got into November. I think today's the 10th, so you could say, all right, we got in a week and a half ago. I understand, but didn't love it. Didn't love it. Waking up, you look outside, you got snow on the deck right there, snow on the car, only a little bit. I know most of it's melted or just about all of it, but winter is upon us. Like in the show of Game of Thrones, winter's coming. Well, guess what? Winter is here. So, check out the jackets.
Yeah, still rocking shorts over here, basketball shorts, luckily the snow was very minimal by me. I don't know about for you guys, but yeah, didn't get too much. It was just like a light dusting, so it melted pretty quickly. And then our HOA, they obviously do the lawn and stuff, so they had the people come and do it today, which I had to laugh because there was snow on the ground. And a job's going to get done, but they basically lawn mowed over the leaves and then they blew the leaves. So then all the snow's gone, all the leaves are gone, which is great. Except for my daughter loves leaves, so she was like, "No!" as soon as she saw the leaves are gone. But yeah, snow sucks. Back in the office tomorrow, so it's like one of those things where I'm like, God damn, I have to. Hopefully, it doesn't snow overnight. I hate driving in the snow, so nevertheless.
Yeah, it's one of those days where if you've got the remote starter, if you're fortunate enough with the car, I do not have one. Shout out Maria. I know she does have one. You hit that sucker 5-10 minutes before you're getting ready to leave. Walk in. You walk out of the house, right? It's cold. You're like burr burr burr, but it's like 5 seconds. Then you get right into a heated car. I don't have that. I don't know if you have that, but technology, man.
I usually try to catch it when I get off the train because I have to walk down the platform. If I'm lucky, which I haven't been recently, because last week apparently everybody was taking the train into the city for work. I think everybody's getting forced back. Had to do the old I used to be able to reach it from the platform, hit the lock mechanism, start the car, but yeah, no, not now. Now it's like I'm parking all the way in, Itasca basically, which is nowhere even close. I don't even know where Itasca is. If you had to ask me, it's not even close to where I live, but nevertheless, so little fun story outside of weather. Saturday, I don't know if you have a garbage disposal in your place, but
we do.
Yeah, gotta love that. So mine has been kind of like on a fritz recently. We'll say it like that. And I go to turn it on. It like makes this like humming noise. It goes zzz, and all of a sudden it just turns out. I'm like, oh shit. So I go immediately onto YouTube. I'm like, how do I fix this? Like, it's just humming, and I found a couple of videos that were exactly the little mechanism. And all they said was there's a red button on the bottom. You hit the reset button, and then you're supposed to get this, like, they have an Allen wrench. Well, of course, I didn't have the patience to look around for the Allen wrench I needed. That's like a real thick one. So I just ordered it from Ace real quick, online order, ran over there, picked it up. Couple twists, fixes the issue. There was a little measuring cup that fell through and got jammed in there. So that's what ended up happening. But I was able to fix it, resolve the problem. So call me Plumber Jeff, apparently.
It's funny you mentioned the garbage disposal because I remember having to try to fix the garbage disposal once or twice back at Mom's. And yeah, they do have that little Allen wrench key. I know what you're talking about, where you got to get under there and you start like moving it around and you feel like you're breaking it up in there, right? And then it's like, okay, and you feel manly.
I did feel manly because I normally can't fix shit like that. So it was like a couple twists, a little flex after, and got the job done. Felt like home improvement or something.
Tool time,
But yeah, it was just a little like $13 wrench, and I was like, that was perfect. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I'm just glad that, but yeah, as soon as I did a couple twists, I heard, I'm like, oh shit, am I breaking something like you just said? And sure enough, the little measuring cup thing just shot up, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is why. Click it on, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, I'm used to the Allen wrenches too because we've had to put some furniture together
Oh my God.
back in the day.
Yeah.
I think I was still in high school, and we're trying to put some furniture together from, it's made in like Indonesia, right? And they do these Allen wrenches, and you're like, what? Pardon my French. What the fuck are we doing here? But
And it
hey,
and
they
it's
work.
and it's so funny because everything's an Allen wrench now, and I think it's to make things easier on you, where you don't have to drill, you don't have to screw drive. Honestly, give me a couple nails. Hi, Lola.
I
Um,
was going to say, I don't know if you can see this real quick. This cat has been licking me nonstop for the last 2 minutes. I
no,
don't have anything on my hands. Yeah,
you're very dirty.
I must.
She's gotta bathe you.
Yeah, must be. She bathed herself earlier. She had a nice cat nap. I don't think I've had. She's an affectionate little one. She gives some kisses. She loves a lot of purring with this one. Wakes me up every morning, purring. But I mean, my hand is wet right now. This is like a dog.
Yeah,
This has not happened yet. So
yeah.
I
No,
don't
that's
know.
how Loki, my cat, too. She does that same thing but she'll go after your head,
Oh my,
and it's super funny because if you go to pet her, she sometimes licks your hand, and I don't know if this is like an OCD thing for her to make sure you're clean, in her opinion, before you pet her. So sometimes she'll like want the pets, but she'll lick your hand to do it. But yeah, no, I know that feeling.
yeah, I like them. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. She got in some super love or super clean mode just now. But
Yeah,
I think she's done now. So I think we're ready. I think we're ready
there we
again.
go. All right, back on track. But yeah, Allen wrenches. Um, I was like looking too because everyone asks you, well, oh, what do you want for Christmas and whatnot, and I was like, maybe there's an automatic Allen wrench thing. So I'm looking all over the internet. It's not a thing. I saw it on TikTok that it was a thing, but couldn't find it since. So
I'm really just one more thing on this before we move on.
yeah,
There's a thing, and Maria might already be like, "Oh my God, he's going to bring this up again." And if not, she's going to know in a second when I bring it up. We were at her favorite store, Home Goods. Shout out Home Goods if they want to sponsor us. If they want to send her free stuff, she goes there. We go there. A lot of good stuff, I will say. A lot of good stuff. One gripe recently, we went there for candles. Didn't have a great scent. Either way. Um, we go to Home Goods, and God damn it, when you lose your train of thought. I just lost. What was I saying? What was I about to say here, Jeffrey? Help me out here.
Home Goods.
Yes, I know Home Goods, but we went there
We were
and
talking about Allen wrenches. You're buying things.
Allen
Christmas
wrenches. There we
presents.
go. All right, we're back. We're back on track. There was this thing. It was either a 10-in-1 or a 12-in-1. I think it was a 12-in-1 little
Yeah,
tool, right? It's got like a hammer. I think
yeah,
there was an Allen wrench key. There was a flathead and a Phillips head screwdriver in there. I don't know, 6 or 8 other things, right? Wanted to get it. It was not expensive at all because it's Home Goods, right?
hmm
Maria said, "No, Dan, you're not going to use that." And to be fair, she is the handy one of this relationship. I don't know if I should be admitting that uh, on the pod, but it's true. It's true. She can put stuff together. She's also the chef. I'm the funny guy, right? I bring the humor. I bring some jokes here and there, and I'm a good cleaner. Other than that, she can put stuff together. Great cook. Maria, I love you. Next topic here.
All right, next topic. Let's jump into sports. We're 10 minutes in talking about Allen wrenches and love.
Yeah, there we go.
Off the rails to start. So let's see. Where do we want to start? Let's do the weekend recap. USC Trojans. This will be a quick hitter. USC Trojans defeated Northwestern 38-17, or 7-2, 5-1 in the Big Ten. Making a lot of moves here. Makai Lemon, remember that name. He's going to be a first round draft pick for wide receiver. He had 11 receptions, 161 yards, scored in like off a handoff and a reception. Jordan Maeva had a nice day running. King Miller, 127 yards and a touchdown. So really just kind of, it was close to begin with. We'll put it that way. I got a little nervous for like 8 minutes, we'll say, because Northwestern was keeping up with USC, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? This is USC. Like, let's step up. The boys turned it around. They gave up 14 points, I think, in the first quarter. Didn't let up more than a field goal the rest of the game. Looked polished. Offense has not been really much of an issue this year. It's been kind of the defense. Defense line's good, so we'll see what ends up happening, but good things to come. We got Iowa this weekend at home. So another big game. We need to win this one. And then we got Oregon. And that one's going to be a playoff type atmosphere. You're playing in Oregon.
No doubt.
Playoff is on the line for that one. We lost 2 games this year. Close one to Illinois. And then kind of got throttled against Notre Dame. But this team can make the playoffs. We've kind of proved it. Got to win out. That's the only way we're going to do it. You win out, you make the playoff. Let's roll. So that's USC.
Yeah, 2 losses, right? Even with this expanded playoffs, I don't know if you get in with 3.
3 we won't. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially if you end up beating Oregon. Oregon's really good again this year, right?
Yeah, they definitely have their flaws. They're not like the Oregon. You'll see them put up like 60 points in a game, but you'll also see them have games like they had against Iowa, which it seemed like I saw somebody said it was like a defensive battle. I didn't watch super closely on Saturday to that game, but Oregon pulled it out late. They got that like kind of close win that you want to see. Those like the battle-tested win, as I think they call them. They did get it. They got the game-winning field goal against Iowa. Kind of glad that they did, just because. I mean, either way, we would have had to beat Iowa this week, and we got Oregon next the following week after that. So we'd still have to win out. But either way, at least these are good resume builders. And honestly, you beat Oregon, you're in the top 10. And then you got UCLA. Then I know they won't make the Big Ten championship game, which is fine. But as long as you get a chance to have a seat at the table with the playoff, this will be the first time for them since the playoff even started.
Yeah, and we're a bit of a Northwestern household here on at least on Dad's side. He's a big Cats fan, so tough to hear that our Cats couldn't hang with you. I don't know if the Cats weren't going to do anything this year, anyways. But
no, they're like 5-3, I think, or something along that. But I think they had a couple wins, but USC should be throttling teams like Northwestern. That's, since Fitzgerald left, they kind of don't have that same mojo, I guess you could say. But yeah, like I said, Iowa this weekend must win. We're in playoff mode now. You got to, just put up the four quarters, play 4 quarters in a game, and hopefully you pull it out, and then we'll be talking about hopefully playoffs.
That should be a whale of a game.
Should be. Now, moving into our United Center teams here quickly. Chicago Blackhawks, week in review. The Hawks are showing, some of the future flashes, obviously. The rebuild's still going on, but Bedard looks like the guy again. This is, he's got 25 points. I don't know if he's leading the NHL or in the top part of the NHL. I'll have to look that up real quickly, but he's been on fire recently. He's had like 8 points in the last he's had points in each of his last 8 games. He's been tearing it up, which has been awesome to see. So he's third overall. Nathan McKinnon's got 29, and Leo Carlson from Anaheim's got 25. But this team looks a lot differently, and I've kind of said it before. I was tempering my expectations in the past just because I'm like, I don't know what I'm seeing. They're kind of coming out and actually showing me. They're giving me reason to be excited, is what I'm going to say here, because they're looking like a team that's of old, where you're seeing these young talents come up, kind of very much like after Kane was drafted, so like the 08-09 type season. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Bedard had 1 goal, 3 assists this week. Pretty much just scoring at will, or being on the ice, and their power play's been elite too. They're generating rushes, top 10 in the league over the last 3 games, which is awesome. Power play has been really good. It's like 62%, which is a high percentage. Defense is still, it needs to get better. Defense needs to shore up, but they had a shutout. Spencer tonight once again. Elite goaltending so far this year. He's been a big part of that. And, obviously you'd like to see more wins, but the points are coming. They're losing a lot in overtime, so they're getting, I think they're third in the Central. I think this team granted, a lot of things could happen. It's going to be a lot of roller coasters this year. If everyone stays healthy and we continue this upward trend, this is a playoff team.
Hey-oh! Whoa! That
So it
is the
might be the
first
hot
hot
take.
take. That is the
Hot
first
take
hot take.
on November 10th here.
Yep.
Obviously it's a brick by brick thing, but I feel like we're laying the foundation down and we're not just hammering drywall. I think that's the best way to put it.
Well, we've all been there, right? Hammering some drywall. Am I right there, fellas? You don't want to be hammering drywall.
No, and like obviously, as we said before, lot to go on. They still have a lot of picks over the next couple of years. They've done a good job of securing that. They've gotten a lot of good. The trades that they've made, Burkowski for one, he has been on the stat sheet for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 games. I feel like he's just been all over it. He's got 14 points on the season. Really, in the past years, he hasn't really done much. So it's nice to see a guy that they're kind of getting to contribute, kind of like Ryan Donato last year. He was also a pretty big name that kind of stepped up. But Tyler Bertuzzi, he came out of Detroit for a number of years. He had a hat trick the other day. I think he's got like 6 goals in his last 3 games. He's been doing very well. Obviously, Frank Nazar, we've talked about him at length. So, yeah, lots of good things to see about the Hawks.
Well, you know what? You said it was going to be maybe next year sort of thing where we make the playoffs. So maybe it is this year. Maybe we got something here.
Yeah, I think his name's Blashill is the coach. His last name's Blashill. He's bringing in the culture. That's what you want to see. We talk about the Bears, we talk about like the Jets and stuff when it comes to culture, even the Sox and Cubs. He came in immediately, and we're seeing a whole different team. Bedard looks good. Nazar looks good. They called up Ollie Moore, or Oliver Moore. I call him Ollie, but still, they look really good right now. So like all these kids are looking good. Keep adding to it. They have all these draft picks, whether they have to trade. They need to get some big fish in the free agency too, obviously. I don't think they go out in that deadline and go trade for somebody. I think this is, hey, here's what we got. Let's roll with it, see what, go for it. And the next year will be the year that you really see them get really aggressive. But I think this is kind of like a wait and see where we're at. But good to see a young team like this kind of stepping up for sure.
And you said we're in third.
In the Central, yeah. So that's good. That's good news, honestly. It's given us hope that we can at least maybe sneak in. It's going to be tough. It's like long season, 82 games, obviously.
Yeah.
It doesn't get much easier, obviously, but you got some hope at least.
You got some hope. All we can do is hope.
Yep. Exactly. Got to keep stringing them. I guess you got to keep stringing these wins together. Maybe win a couple divisional games, and a couple of games they got their doors blown off. I think against Winnipeg, I think we lost like 5-1. So obviously, it's one of those things. Like yesterday, we won 5-1 against Detroit. Pretty good team there. They need a goaltender, but still. Now flipping over to a team that we both kind of follow, but loosely because we can't watch them anywhere. The Chicago Bulls. How about them? Would they start off 5-1? They're 6-3 right now. Dropped a couple of tough ones. I think they battled back yesterday, I believe it was, or 2 days ago, against the Bucks, and then obviously losing to the Cavs too. Both winnable games, kind of just up and down. Beat a decent 76ers team earlier in the week as well. I don't know. I don't know what else we could say. Josh Giddey, I'm kind of surprised about him. That was a trade that I didn't think it was going to pan out because we gave him up straight up for Caruso. Yeah. Talk about a change in scenery and tell
he's been good.
Hey, go off, King.
He's been good on a young team. That's what happens sometimes when you get these young players. OKC, we've been talking about how many picks they've had for how many years, and they still have a bunch of picks, and they've got this great young team. And sometimes guys that you drafted get lost in the shuffle, and they find a new change of scenery, a new home, if you will. And yeah, he's been playing good. I don't know if I'm necessarily sold on him just yet. I'd like to see him do this for an entire season. But yeah, he's playing well. You gotta be able to make trades. If you're not gonna hit on all your draft picks, you got to be able to make some trades that are going to benefit you. So Giddey looks solid. You mentioned we haven't really been able to watch the Bulls, which I was just looking on TV the other night. I was talking to Pops after work. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to watch the Bulls tonight. Forgot again, can't watch them. He's telling me what channel they're on, and I'm like, Dad, you have Comcast or something like that. I've got Hulu. I don't have he tells me it's like channel 206 or whatever. I'm like, we don't have 206, dude. And I got to tell him this every week because that's how he
Yeah.
is. But um, you know what? The Bulls were a team. I don't know how high the expectations were for the Blackhawks this year. For me, I mean, the Bulls are the same expectations
Yeah.
they've been the last 3, 4 years or whatever, right? I mean, do they make the playoffs? Barely. Do you even want that? But yeah, we've started the season well, which is good to see. The East is a pretty good division or a pretty good conference, I should say. But I know some of the big guys are hurt this year, so it kind of opens the field, if you will, a little bit more. You can't assume Boston's going to run away and win 60 games this year. So um, it kind of opens the door for some other teams. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, just a quick brief, just going through it too, like in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, Detroit, they've kind of turned it on. Cade Cunningham, talk about a pick,
He's a stud.
number one overall pick, who is, like you just said, absolute stud.
Oh,
He, could easily go in there, get disgruntled, demand a trade out of here. He's kept his mouth shut. You haven't heard two words out of him in a negative manner. They lost, what, 27? It was like a record, 27 or 28 games in a row.
yeah.
And he just, you know, all about the business. I respect that for him. Obviously, he's not like a seasoned vet, but he's been in the league since 2021. He got hurt in 22, but he's averaging like 25 points a game as well. So good to see for him. Obviously, they're a tough team, kind of trying to put it together. And then obviously the Cavs, still really good team. The Bulls lost to them. Knicks, they're obviously a tough team. And then Miami, Milwaukee, Philly, Toronto, Atlanta, and Boston are all in the mix still. I think this year of all the years too, I think they have a good shot at just actually making the playoffs. As you said, I didn't have really many expectations for them, so we'll see what ends up happening. But nice to see at least three Chicago teams as we can transition a little bit over to the NFL. But nice to see that Chicago teams are actually above 500 for once.
Hey, Chicago sports are back. I know it's early. I know we've only played a few games, but we are back.
There you go. You heard it first here. Wrapping up real quickly, obviously college basketball started this past week.
Yep.
North Carolina took out Duke. Just wanted to, shoot that out there. Good to see. Unfortunately, Seth Trimble got hurt in practice this weekend, fractured, I think, his arm. So he's out for a couple months or a couple weeks. So, business as usual, though. But Caleb Wilson, going to be a top 10 pick out of North Carolina. He is the real deal. Let's go Tar Heels.
And I'm more of a Dookie. I think my dad was telling me that Carlos Boozer, his sons, are they on Duke or are they getting ready to go
Yeah.
to Duke? Are they
No,
good?
they're in Duke. Yeah.
They must
Well,
be.
one of them's like a projected number one overall pick. Yeah,
Okay,
they're
so
pretty good.
pretty good. Pretty good. Good for the Booze Cruise.
Yeah. That's all they need is more, BS there in Duke.
Booze.
I mean, they don't have a Cooper flag though, so like that's the difference. Is like
Yeah.
we'll see what ends up happening. That's the funny thing about college basketball is these games mean nothing right now, but come March then it's like it's on. But yep, that's all I got on that. But real quickly, obviously, I can pass it over to you. Let's talk some baseball. We got the awards getting announced this week.
Yeah, I almost forgot that they were doing these awards this week, but that's always an interesting time because obviously once baseball wraps up, it's pretty cold for a little while. You don't hear too much. You hear about a few trades or a few signings, free agent wise, but the awards right after the season is always an interesting time as well. And this year, just like every year, you've always got some interesting candidates here. We can rattle through this pretty quickly, but I think easily for the American League Rookie of the Year. The Rookie of the Year, by the way, is tonight. I believe it goes Manager of the Year tomorrow night, Cy Young after that, and MVP at the end of the week. But for the American League, pretty easy here. You got three candidates. You got Roman Anthony, Jacob Wilson, and I think everybody will agree that the shoe-in here, my buddy Nick Kurtz, led all MLB rookies with 36 homers, 86 RBIs, 64 extra base hits, 90 runs, and a 619 slugging percentage. So just unbelievable season from him. It looked like his teammate Jacob Wilson was going to run away with it. and then he gets hurt. They call up Kurtz, and he does what he does. So, your
Yeah,
thoughts
you know
on the
what?
Rookie of the Year?
You exactly you nailed it on my you nailed like the thought right in my head. So I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. Yeah, Nick Kurtz, he came up, blew the doors off of it. What did he have, like a 4 home run game? Came up just man on fire. And yeah, like you said, Jacob Wilson was a shoe in for the Rookie of the Year from the start, batting over like 320 something, and then he got hurt, and then unfortunately, he got, like I said, unfortunately got hurt, so his teammate will probably take the crown for this. But yeah, I think Nick Kurtz wins it. I think I even said that like midway through after Wilson got hurt. I'm like, Kurtz might be that dude, man.
And I think, I think Kurt still would have won it if Roman Anthony didn't get hurt. But we do have to give him a little love, too, because he was having a great season before he got injured. And that kid looks like he's going to be I think he was like the number one prospect before he got called up. So that kid's going to be a hell of a stud, too. National League, this is where it gets a little interesting. AL, you got your shoe in with Kurtz. National League Rookie of the Year, you've got Caleb Durbin, who, no offense, I'm trying to poo-poo on the Brewers anymore than I already have, but he's going to finish in third. I'm sorry. He's going to be number 3. You've got Drake Baldwin from Atlanta who could win it, or you've got our guy Cade Horton from the north side that can win it. And honestly, I think this one is very close. I think you could almost flip a coin. Drake Baldwin was obviously up pretty much, I think, the whole year. I think he was up opening day.
Yeah,
hit
he was.
274, 19 homers. He was great. Cade Horton, obviously, we called him up. Got off to a bit of a slower start, but ended up the season with 11-4 record, 2.67 ERA, 97 strikeouts, 33 walks, and 118 innings pitched. He had the crazy stretch, I should say, where he had his last 14 starts of the season, had a 1.36 ERA. He only gave up 1 or no runs in 12 of those 14 starts. And I had to bring this up really quick. Since 1913, when earned runs became an official stat, second half ERA he was the second best second half ERA, only behind Jake Arrieta in 2015 when he had his magical run. So, and my picks right now, I don't want to say I'm biased. I just think Horton, with the historic stretch he had, I think he might edge Baldwin in that, but I wouldn't be shocked or upset if Baldwin won that either. But I'm going Kurtz Horton with my Rookies of the Year. What about you?
I'm going Baldwin just because he was sustainable the entire year. He had the
Yep.
longevity of being able to do it year round. So, and he pretty much held the title pretty much the entire year.
He was great.
Like I said, I'll give Horton his flowers. He did have a good second half.
Oh, thank you. Okay. All right. We'll quickly we'll move through these quickly here. Manager of the Year, National League. You got Tito looking to get his 4th award. That would tie Bobby Cox, Tony La Russa, and Buck Showalter for 4 Manager of the Year awards. Pretty crazy. And Cincinnati got in on the last day of the regular season, so took them all 162 to get there. You got Pat Murphy, who's looking for the first back-to-back since Bobby Cox did it in 04-05. And you got Rob Thompson, made the playoffs in all 4 seasons, second straight division title. Jeffrey, I will throw it over to you. Where do you see this one going?
This one's tough because obviously we know the Reds were always on the brink of it, but it took them until the final day, like you said, to get in. Pat Murphy and the Brewers. We've said it enough with the Brewers. They don't kill you with like a bunch of big name players. They seem to overwhelmingly trade away all their pitching a year after they're good. So you get a lot of young guys up. So you have to get the best out of them. That being said, a guy that, like you just said, has made 4 straight playoff appearances pretty much since I think they made a World Series appearance too in that time frame with Rob Thompson when their original manager was it Girardi? This is going back a long time. I don't remember who the manager
Might
was
have been
with the Phillies. Got whoever it was got fired. He stepped in and they ended up making the World Series. So tough to say because I have to go Brewers. I have to go with Pat Murphy because having the best record overall with kind of the team that you're given. I'll take Pat Murphy on that one. Yeah, that's my go-to.
I'm gonna agree with you on that too. And you know what? It's tough because I don't think Tito gets it. I think it's more between Murphy and Thompson, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a 1-game difference. Philly
Yeah.
196, Milwaukee 197. But I think that the winning streaks Milwaukee went on and the year they had, I think he gets it done with the back-to-back. American League, you got John Schneider, went from worst last year to first this year with Toronto. You got Stephen Vogt, who's also looking to go back-to-back. And they were 15 and a half out July and July 11th, and they were, oh, I'm sorry, in July, and they were 11 back September 5th, and they came back to win their division. And Dan Wilson took over late in 24, captured first division title since 01. What do you think on that one?
You got to give it to Schneider because they did make the World Series. In my opinion, I think he's a shoo-in for it. I would love to see Dan Wilson get it just because, like you said, going from a team that was pretty, battle tested last year, almost on the brink of making it, they finally got over that hump and made it to, what was it, Game 7 of the ALCS. So
Yeah.
it could go either way. Obviously, I'm going with the Snyder pick just because they did, like you said, go from worst to first, and he was able to bring them to the World Series. And honestly, to the brink of winning the whole fucking thing. I mean, if they don't drop the Game 6, I think they dropped 6 and 7. That's a tough pill to swallow, but he did everything. He tried to pull the best strings he could, so.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on this one again. I think Schneider gets it done. Vogt, though, I mean, they all have good cases. Obviously, Seattle, their first division title in over 20 years. But Stephen Vogt, man, with what they did with Cleveland, I mean, nobody saw that coming. And the Toronto one, yeah, they finished worse. I don't know if people had them finishing in fifth again in that division, but just the way that they went about it and won the division this year, I think I have to go with Toronto as well. Okay, quickly in the National League Cy Young, we had Christopher Sanchez this year, finished 13 and 5, 2.5 ERA, 212 strikeouts in 202 innings. We had Paul Skeens, who had the ERA crown this year at 1.97. First pitcher with a sub-2 ERA since 2022, and that was Justin Verlander. And a guy that we just saw win the World Series MVP, and rightfully so, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. 12 and 8 this year with a 2.49 ERA, 201 strikeouts in 173 innings pitched. Jeffrey, I will let you start.
Give me Paul Skeens on this one because he's playing on a shit team. He doesn't have billionaires around him to fund the team. Yamamoto deserves it. Don't get me wrong. I think he had an incredible year. His playoff stretch is going to be one of the ones that we refer back to for years to come. But you're talking about a guy that literally went out on a bad team, went 6 to 7 innings of one-run ball, or what, like sometimes losing 1-0, and having a sub-2 ERA all year long, and pretty much since he's come into the league. Give me Skeens.
I have a tough time arguing that as well. The numbers across the board for these guys, they're all like top 5 in the top categories for all the pitching ranks. So you really could pick any 3 of these guys. I think Skeens gets it done, especially when you just look at that ERA. He's got a half point lower than both of those guys. That is kind of a big deal over a long season, at least big enough to me. So I got to go with the fireballer from Pittsburgh on that one. American League Cy Young. Hunter Brown finished with a 2.43 ERA, second in the American League. 206 strikeouts, which was third. Had a 103 whip, which was fourth. And fifth in opponent's batting average, which was 201. Your ex-player, Garrett Crochet, led the American League with 205 innings, and he led baseball with a whopping 255 strikeouts with a 2.59 ERA. Stellar season. And Tarek Skubal looking to do the back-to-back trick, as they say, for the first time since Pedro did it in 99 and 2000. 2.21 ERA, 0.89 whip, 195 innings pitched, 241 strikeouts. Who you got for the American League?
I want it to be Crochet. I really want it to, but I know it's going to Skubal. Unfortunately, I know how this goes too well. It's going to Skubal, but I would love to see Crochet get it, especially the year after he gets traded away from the Sox. So.
Yeah, I think I think you and I are in a line here again. Hunter Brown, though, he had a crazy good year. 2.43 ERA. Give him his love. Crochet leading all of baseball with the strikeouts is going to be that's what he's going to have going for him. But Skubal had a little bit of a lower ERA. The WHIP was stellar. I got to go Skubal with back to back as well. Last one. Quickly, we've got the NL and AL MVPs. We will start in the National League. Shohei Ohtani, favorite to win his third consecutive and fourth in 5 years, would put him in historic company with my all-time favorite player, Barry Bonds, has only 4-time MVPs and only players with 3 consecutive MVP awards. Hit 282 this year, 55 homers, 20 stolen bases, 102 RBIs, also scored 146 runs. Also in 14 starts on the mound, 2.87 ERA with 62 strikeouts in 47 innings pitched. My potentially favorite player in the league, I do have a jersey of him, Kyle Schwarber. Should have never let this guy go. Career high in homers for him this year, 56. Also had a whopping 132 RBIs. People want to go analytical and say they don't want to look at those numbers. You should look at those numbers, my friends. And Juan Soto, rounding out the top 3. Everyone said, oh, Juan's not having a great year. Well, finishes with 43 homers, 38 stolen bases, 105 RBIs, 120 runs, 127 walks. Finished with just under a 400 OPP. I'll give you the 396 official. Who you got? I didn't know who you got.
It's Ohtani. I'm going to keep it quick. It's Ohtani. I can make the argument for Schwarber. It's not going to him, though.
Yep. All right. That one's easy. I think this one is fairly easy as well. I think we both want it to be one guy, but we'll see. American League MVP. You have Aaron Judge. We all know how good Aaron Judge is. 53 homers, 137 runs, 124 walks. Led, I think, in all 3 slash lines with a 331 average, 457 on base, 688, yes, 688 slug. Cal Raleigh, 7th player to reach 60 home runs, 125 RBIs, 948 OPS, 169 OPS plus, did that all as a catcher. And I know Jose Ramirez, I think, was the 3rd guy. I forgot to write down on here, but I do know, I think he was the only player in baseball this year with 30 or more homers and 40 or more stolen bases. He is Mr. Consistency. He is the best third baseman in the game, and he has been for a while now. He's also Mr. Underrated. Does he win this year?
Yes.
No. But who wins? Who do you got?
Oh, we could go back and forth on this one for hours. Obviously, we don't have hours. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Give it to Kyle Raleigh. I think that the voters will do it this year. I think it's going to be a big debate because they like to do this. There's at least one that you're like, wait, what happened? Go back to the Verlander Cy Young year. It was against Rick Porcello. That was a big deal because Rick Porcello had better numbers, but they gave it to Verlander. I think this is what's going to happen, where I think Judge unfortunately had better numbers. I do have to admit it. You can't just rely on home runs, but I think you look at it as a team. I think without Raleigh, they don't make the ALCS without him. I don't think they end up securing a bye without him. That would be my take on it. Like you said, though, got to give our flowers to Jose Ramirez. The dude is just a baller. Goes out, plays on a team that sells every year almost, and just puts up massive numbers. So hats off to him. But, yeah, give me Cal.
I want it to be Cal. I think Judge is going to get it, and it's from what you said. The numbers across the board are better. Now, do they want to try to give it to Cal because you want to try to define what an MVP is, most valuable? Okay, I think it goes to Judge.
Yeah, we'll see. So stay tuned on that. You said it's this week they announce those?
Every day this week, I believe. So Rookie of the Year starts tonight.
Awesome. There we go. And it is time for the fastest 2 minutes, Gabagools edition. And where do we start off, as always?
Thursday night, of course. Got to start off with Thursday Night Football, where we saw Denver's 2 scores outlast 2-win Raiders. Denver 10, Raiders 7. Death, taxes, and Jonathan Taylor. Indy 31, Atlanta 25. 3 times as many passing yards, almost 100 more total yards, and Cleveland still loses. Jets, Jets, 27,
Jets.
Cleveland 20. Bad loss for Panthers as Tyler shoves in debut. Saints 17, Carolina 7. Surprise team of the year gets 8th win on the road. New England 28, Tampa Bay 23. Ravens win 3rd in a row and keep playoff hopes very much alive. Baltimore 27, Minnesota 19. Dolphins shutout Bills. 3 straight quarters for upset of the week. Miami 30, Buffalo 13. Caleb saves best for last with late comeback win. Bears 24, G-Man 20. Tough loss for Jags as defense allows 26 points in the fourth quarter. Houston 36, Jacksonville 29. Seattle doubles up on Brisket's Cardinals. Seattle 44, Arizona 22.
Did you call him Brisket?
I did. Yes. Lions flex muscles and roar past Commanders. Detroit 44, Washington 22. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions from Stafford. This old dog still bites. Rams 42, 49ers 26. Historic night for Keenan Allen as Chargers win easily. LA 25, Pittsburgh 10, and we have the game tonight. Who could forget the Eagles at the Packers, 7:15. Jeffrey, take it away.
Well, I'd say be there or be square, but if you have YouTube TV, you still can't watch any ESPN, so not bitter or anything still. But yeah, like you said, let's start it off on Thursday night. What a snore fest, man. What an awful game to have players playing. And I had Genty and Bowers in that league going. And what an absolute snooze fest. At least Genty, for fantasy purposes, got the touchdown. But, I mean, other than that, what a shit game. Broncos seem to be pulling off these, close wins. They call off the close wins. They pull off the late wins. They have enough wins in the to lead out the West. Man, it's a interesting turn of events we have here. I give me a Chargers Broncos game. I don't know when they play next, if they already have, but I'm kind of excited to see what happens between that division.
Yeah, I mean, we all know the Raiders aren't great. Geno's not been very good this year. You mentioned my buddy Brock Bowers. Really, that's going to come back to haunt me this week. If he would have done what he's been doing or anything halfway decent,
dude, 10, 15 points,
I have a real chance to win. I am down. I'm up this week right now, but this guy's got Hurts, might have AJ Brown and one other guy going tonight in these games. So I'm up a few. But if I would have had something from him, and if Bijan could have done a little bit more, I would maybe have snuck out this win. But yeah, Snorefest, like you said. Boring game.
Yeah, that happened to me too for fantasy. Obviously, I just traded for Bijan and Bowers, and they both did diddly squat. Bowers had, one catch this week? That fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Making these trades, fantasy's so stupid. I don't know why we play it. That's what we're always going to say is, why do we play this fucking game? Because this shit happens so frequently where you make these moves that you think you're going to put yourself over the top, and then you still end up, getting smoked. But yeah, Bijan, you have to laugh at that one just because Tyler Algier just seems to be the guy that puts Bijan in the cuck chair and gets all these touchdowns. It's ridiculous. They need to stop doing that. Give the ball to Bijan. We've said it the last 2 weeks. So anyway, we could go on to the next game. Now, in Berlin, this was actually a fun game to watch. It was kind of a fun game to have in the background, while you're getting ready in the morning and stuff, because it was obviously early. Jonathan Taylor, man, what a comeback. And he's putting up MVP-type numbers. Yeah. Obviously, Saquon, we said the same thing about him last year, but right now, JT's ahead of him on pace for, breaking more rushing
I was
yards
just
too
going to ask you
compared to
that.
the last year. Yep. Yeah, and then he put up 244 and three, scored the game winner, and they literally just handed him the ball in the final drive. I had to laugh. They gave it to him like 8 times in a row. There was like, "Can you stop us?" And the Falcons could do nothing against him. In our format, because you get points per attempt, he put up like 78 points.
You know, he kind of went away the last couple of years. I don't know. I think he was banged up a little
He
bit,
was
but
hurt.
he was a guy for a little while there where it's like if you're not taking him number one, maybe it's Derrick Henry and then it's like Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he was elite, and then some injuries, but yeah, this year you mentioned it, MVP type stuff. I don't know, he's got to be on pace or like you said, ahead of Saquon's pace last year, and we looked up last year at every single game. It seems like Saquon's rushing for about 200 yards. Taylor's doing the same freaking thing
Yep.
and getting in the end zone minimum 2 to 3 times like every week.
Yep. Exactly. Can't ask for much more out of him, but yeah, he's been insane since he's had a resurgence too. Like last year he was okay, but like this year he's really stuck it to him. Let's move into Chicago and the Giants. As I said, this is a trap game, and I think if Jackson Dart doesn't get hurt, we might be talking a different story. But Bears take out the Giants. Caleb Williams once again leads the game-winning drive. They score those 2 touchdowns to wrap it up. The one to Adunze, and then Caleb rushes that 17-yarder in, keeping the Bears alive. This team's frisky now. I think we could say it too. They had to win those 3 games. They won 2 out of 3. It's not going to get much easier on the schedule. Obviously, I think they have the Steelers coming up. Is that next? I believe. Let's
You
see
might be
here.
right
Oh,
on
yeah,
that.
Minnesota next, and then you got the Steelers. So, 2 games, very winnable.
Big games.
Minnesota definitely isn't good. We'll talk on them in a little bit, but Steelers don't look that good either. Their defense is pretty good, but
Yeah.
their offense has been hit or miss. But back to the Bears. Caleb Williams once again kind of led the charge for them. Got the last touchdown. So I mean, what more can you say? But defense once again held tough. I mean, Giants aren't very good. Got Brian Table fired, so
Yeah, this is a game you would have liked to see the Bears, space this out a little bit more and win by a bigger margin. But you know what? We're finding a way to win some of these games. You look up now, we're 6-3 after 10 weeks. So, like you said, got to find a way to win a couple games here, and it doesn't get any easier when you've got multiple with Green Bay left. You still got a game with Detroit. You got Minnesota next week and Pittsburgh, like you said, really good defense. So, let's go.
yeah, and obviously it's Aaron Rodgers too, so that doesn't make anything any easier. But
No.
yeah, you got to win. You're winning the close games. That's what you need to do. Obviously, show some promise there. So you'd like to see Caleb do a little bit more, but I mean,
Yeah.
he got the rushing and he had the passing touchdown in the 4th. Maybe if he just plays like that in a full game, he'll be fine. But yeah, 6-3. Nice to see. All right, moving into the blowout. Miami really stuck it to the Bills, and this was a shocker. And you know what? Josh Allen, in my opinion, has not been the same MVP QB this year, and that might be a hot take.
Well, I mean, he's definitely put up some. I would assume he's put up some pretty big numbers. But this is a game that it just seems like every year there's like a game or two that Buffalo should win. With these games, and it's like you've let Kansas City kind of come back a little bit. You don't want to let these teams, and now you got Baltimore surging, winning 3 straight. So these are
Yeah,
not games for Buffalo that you can afford to be losing. I mean, I think they're 6-3. This is a team that we're going to get into New England in a little bit. They're 8-2. New England is winning these games. That is a good team. Buffalo,
I
for
know.
whatever reason, is are they not as good as I don't know. We'll get to New England in a minute, but yeah, Buffalo. This is not a game you should have lost. This is a bad loss.
Yeah, I mean, and he's still putting up decent numbers. He's got 15 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Let me see if there's a rushing stat I could pull quickly. But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel the same for me right now. So he's got 7 rushing touchdowns. on the year too. So he's doing a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like this is the time where they don't have that number one wide receiver. They rely on Dalton Kincaid. Coleman, I think, had a touchdown yesterday, but he wasn't that good. But Kincaid got banged up again. It's tough, but yeah, if the Bills aren't, obviously New England being 8-2, you could still come back. Obviously, you got the Jets, you got that, but you lose to Miami. That's not good.
No.
We're far from panic meters, but dude, I'm just looking ahead. If somehow New England holds this pace and a team like Indianapolis holds it, and we're gonna end up seeing Josh Allen in the wild card. If Baltimore makes this push that I think they could be a wild card team. And you have the Kansas City Chiefs because of how good the AFC West is. We're talking all three of those guys playing in the wild card round, which is insane.
Yeah, and those are the games that on paper at the beginning of the year you want them to play in the AFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl. And now you're talking about potentially having multiple matchups with some of these guys early on, almost through the entire playoffs. We'll see, though. New England is not. They haven't won that division in a few years, I don't think. So we'll see if they can hang on. But they have put themselves in a great, great position.
Yep, and then just on the flip side, Devon Achane still as advertised, 22
Stud.
carries, 174 and 2.
Stud.
All right, next game, Baltimore and Minnesota. As we said, too, this was a weird game. I don't know if you caught any of this one, but this was a weird game. It was kind of up and down, honestly, the entire game, where I felt like the Ravens should have put them away a lot sooner than they did, and it took a lot. No one really stood out on the stat sheet. Lamar only had one touchdown. Derrick Henry had 20 carries for 75 yards. It was just a weird game, in my opinion, kind of a defensive battle, and they basically just made J.J. McCarthy try to win the game. He went 20 of 42, one touchdown and 2 interceptions. That's not going to get the job done. He also led the team in rushing by 1 yard, but still, that's not the recipe for Minnesota to beat the Ravens. I don't think Minnesota's defense is good enough, even though they blitz the hell out of. I think they blitz like 55% of the time, they said. And he also didn't feed his biggest receivers with Jefferson or Addison. You got to feed those guys more than 4 receptions. They each had 12 and 11 targets, so he tried. But, when you're throwing the ball 42 times, you better hope one of them catches these balls, man.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that one because, Minnesota probably wants McCarthy to throw the ball about half of that. When you see him throwing the ball 40 times or more, that means you couldn't get the run going, and they need that with him. So, Minnesota, I think they're under 500. So this is
they're
Bears,
4-5, and it's a must win for the Bears. If they lose this game, it's gonna come down on the Bears, and it's gonna come down on.
If they lose next week, I don't know how many more games we're gonna win for the rest of the year. That's what's gonna happen.
I think they will. I think we have a lot of games that you can win still, but it's going to be tough sledding. So obviously you have to, win those. But let's move on. Next game we have the Jets pulling. This is a battle of the turds, is what I wanted to call it, but I couldn't think of a funnier name than that. But
the shitball battle.
Seriously. What was it? 2-7 or 2-6 Browns versus the 1-7 Jets, and Jets pulled it out 27-20. Took a punt return for a touchdown and a kickoff return for a touchdown. First time in Jets history that's ever happened in the same game. So I thought that was kind of a funny little tidbit that happened. Justin Fields threw for 56 yards.
He certainly did. I looked that up and I said, I looked that up and I was
54,
like,
54 yards.
I looked that up and I'm like, wait, so did he get hurt? Did Tyrod get in and did he play? Because I've got him in one of my leagues. Nope. No, he did not. And Aaron Glenn doesn't want to come out and say who's starting next week because that's what he wants to do now. So, you won the game, but you look up offensively and it's like, my goodness, what the hell did you guys even do on offense?
It was all Breece Hall, my man. It was 42-yard reception for a touchdown. He had 83 rushing yards. He's good. Extend him, please. Obviously, we didn't talk about it, but the trade deadline, Jets made a huge splash. They traded Sauce Gardner after re-signing him to start the year. Trade him for 2 firsts and Adonai Mitchell. to the Colts, and then you shipped off Quentin Williams to Dallas. That was another big thing. You kind of like really dug deep, and you got a first round pick from Williams as well. But you kind of said, "Hey, we're rebuilding. We're going to try to do it right this time." You got 3 first round picks in 26. You got 2 in 27. Good ways to go about it. I mean, I'm not complaining about it. This was kind of a. I was happy that the Jets won because it's just nice to win. It's going to be the storyline with the Jets. It's just nice to win one. But
Yep.
in the back of your mind, you're like, should we have won that? Because could you get the first overall pick? Could you draft, the kid out of Indiana? Could you get Ty Simpson out of Bama? But it's like I don't know. So you got plenty of chances. Hopefully, you got 5 first round picks in the next couple of years. Hopefully, you land on one of them. But my goodness, I mean, Justin Fields 6 total, and then the news just came out too that Garrett Wilson's out 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh boy. I mean, you see that. I mean, Cleveland has a good defense, but you see the Jets what they did on offense, and it's like, and now you lose Garrett Wilson. I mean, Justin Fields might not complete a pass next week. I don't know what's going
I
on.
know, and he's basically Wilson's done for the year at that point. But yeah,
Oh,
on
geez.
the flip side, the Browns not good. I mean, Gabriel had the 2 passing touchdowns, and I kind of thought, oh shit, like we're gonna get whooped by him, but Jets
Yeah.
somehow pulled it out and took a couple special teams. But yep, go Jets. New England, kind of with this, like you said, with the stunner. I think we have to start taking this team seriously now with New
Yeah.
England. 28-23 over the Bucks. Trevion Henderson, thank you, Mike Vrabel, for finally using him. I don't have any shares in fantasy, but good to see. 14 carries, 147 and 2. Drake May had 2 touchdowns passing as well. I just look at the stats. I mean, Matt Collins had 6 for 106. That's weird. Kyle Williams finally had that not breakthrough game. He had 1 reception for 72 and a touchdown, so he kind of got lucky. But Diggs has been Mr. Consistent. But Patriots are good. They play decent defense, and they're 8-2, and looks like Baker did everything he could too with like being undermanned. All he had was Amika Ibuka out there with he had his touchdown. Tez Johnson had 2. Run game, pretty much since Bucky's been hurt, has been kind of skeptical too.
Yeah, I think that's probably your big issue for the Buccaneers because that was a really good team and they still are. They got to get him back, but um, man, New England. I mean, you look at the beginning of the year, nobody had them 8-2 at this point for the first 10 weeks of the season. They are surpassing expectations. Vrabel's doing a hell of a job over there. And you look up and it's like, who the hell is May throwing to? Well, he knows where to throw the ball. They got a good thing going there. We'll see how they finish the year though, because they're going to have some tough games down the stretch that they're going to need to win to try to secure that number 1 overall potentially. So we'll see.
Yep, exactly. This next game will whip right through Saints in Carolina. This is just so funny that you get these up and down games from Bryce Young. They beat the Packers and they can't beat the fucking Saints.
Bad loss.
I couldn't imagine being a fan of them just because they have everything in front of them to win, and they just don't. But you shot out the one good part. Rico Dowdle still looks pretty good. Got his touchdown, so he's been a menace for fantasy. Ted McMillan, 5 for 60. You throw a touchdown in there, that's a decent fantasy day. But Tyler Shaw got his first career win. Alvin Kamara, kind of looked rejuvenated with 22 carries, 83 yards. And then Chris Olave came back from the dead, too.
Yeah, I mean, not much to say on this one other than that's a bad loss for Carolina. I don't know if they weren't supposed to make the playoffs this year, but you were above 500. I think they're 5-5 now. This was a game you circle and you say, okay, we need to win this game if we have any chances. So bad loss.
Yeah, another bad loss that we're going to talk about too here is Jacksonville. They had the
Oh,
Texans up against the ropes without C.J. Stroud. This should be an easy win for them in
yep.
theory. Trevor Lawrence, man, 1 touchdown pass. Obviously, he was without Brian Thomas Jr., no Travis Hunter as well. Kind of had Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington, but that's not going to get the job done. The running game wasn't really existent, and Texans defense really just stuck it to them. And Davis Mills somehow pulled out the game-winning touchdown as well, or the go-ahead. So
Yeah, you can't. Jacksonville scored 29 points in this game. That's more than enough to win this league. But you gave up 26 in the fourth quarter. That can't happen. That might be the worst loss of any team this year.
I mean, what was it, the Bengals when the Jets got their first win? I think the Jets were down 17. So, yeah. And then the Broncos had a couple of those. I think they were down 20 something as well. So, weird year when it comes to these
Weird.
comebacks on these teams. But next game hitting the afternoon slate. Sam Darnold and the Seahawks really lit it up, 44-22 over the helpless Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, tough year
You'll
for them.
feel McBride looked good, 9 for 127 and 1. Marvin Harrison Jr., you'd like to see him get a couple more. Obviously, he had 12 targets. You could only do so much, but he only caught 3 of them, got that touchdown. Brissett had 2 touchdown passes, but overall, I mean, I don't know if he got benched for Caden Slavis, but former USC Trojan at one point. So, but Seahawks, still doing business. 2 touchdowns rushing. Darnold threw a pick. I think he fumbled the ball like twice too. He had kind of a rough game, but they still did enough to win.
I was just going to say that they do enough to win these games. They're winning the games they're supposed to win, and they're going to probably be there in the end in the NFC. So we'll see.
Yep, absolutely. Next game, as we said it, Matthew Stafford keeps his MVP discussion open with the 4 touchdown passes. Kyron Williams had 2 on the ground as well. Devontae Adams looks rejuvenated. Puka Nacua was out there doing his thing. 49ers, once again, is up and down team where if they do not rely on CMC, they do not win games. That's what it seems like. I don't know what's going on with Brock Purdy, but he's still not back yet. Mac Jones said whatever. Threw for 3 touchdowns. George Kittle had kind of a big day, 9 for 84 and 1. Of course, right after I traded him. But yeah, Rams look good.
I think Purdy's expected to come back this next week, barring any setbacks. So we'll see if they get him back. But yeah, Rams are good, and Stafford just continues to have a marvelous season.
Yep, another quarterback that had a nice day too. Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions winning 44-22 over the Commanders. The Commanders are just a bad team. I think they were a product of their schedule last year. Jaden Daniels being hurt obviously does not make things any easier, but Jahmyr Gibbs ran all over him, 15 for 142 and 2. Jamison Williams had a nice day. Amon-Ra St. Brown got a touchdown. Mariota did what he could. I mean, 2 touchdown passes with like very limited, options around him. Obviously, he has Devo still, but can't really do much. And then the running game's non-existent, sadly.
Detroit is good. Let's just put it that way for this game. Lions are good.
Yeah, they're going to be a thorn, and you almost hope that like the Bears can put up somewhat of a fight against them too. This time around. But
yeah.
Moving into the Sunday night game, Chargers and Pittsburgh. This is a weird game too. I think I watched till halftime. And it just almost seemed like Rodgers and the Steelers offense just could not get it going, whatever they did. And it's just kind of funny to watch, too. 14 carries for Warren, 70 yards, nothing, no touchdowns. Rodgers had the 2 interceptions, but he had the 2 touchdowns or 1 touchdown pass to Roman Wilson. Flip side, Chargers, even with the banged-up offensive line, rushed for 95 yards and a touchdown from Kamani Vidal. And then Herbert, your boy, 1 touchdown to my guy, Lad McConkey, 4 for 107 and 1.
Yeah, you see Pittsburgh put up 10 points, and for a Bears fan, I'm still worried about playing Rodgers and the Steelers in a couple of weeks. But that offense, I mean, Rodgers is doing enough. He's efficient. I don't think he's throwing the ball down the field too much. You've got Metcalf over there. Chargers, I love Herbert. This team started great. They were kind of iffy. Now they've won another couple games, so we'll see where these 2 teams are in another couple of weeks.
Yep, absolutely. Like you said, we'll close it out. Philly and Green Bay, they play tonight. If you're lucky enough to have them or be able to watch that game, good for you. If not, find a streaming service that actually allows it.
YouTube TV, man, come on.
They did give you a $20 credit, though. It's a joke. I got nothing. And what's your closing? Anything to close on?
Yeah, I'll close on this. Fuck you, YouTube TV.
There you go. There you have it.